My name is Vince Wolfram.
And I am Dylan Cardwell, and welcome to Big Talk,
the show where we take small talk to the next level across the worlds of sports, lifestyle, and everything else under the sun.
Episode 4, baby.
Throw them fours up. We got a lot to talk about this
Too
week.
much to talk about. It's going to be a 30-minute debrief about this past Saturday.
There's one gentleman on the sideline on Saturday that said, I might be calling you later. I need to get this stuff off my chest. That man was Dylan. So we're going to talk today a little Iron Bowl, a little Auburn, Alabama 2023, and the madness that went on in Jordan-Hare.
Man, before we get there, let's go where it all started. A decade ago, I was in 6th grade. My first ever Iron Bowl that I went to, my uncle Rodney Garner got me some tickets, and Chris Davis, as you know, our boy, kicked 6. I stormed the field as a 6th grader. Crazy feeling.
Pepsi, popcorn, spilled, Dylan on the field.
2017, rush again. That's the time I'm like a freshman in high school. 2019, I'm a senior in high school. Rush again. So I was 3-0 before I got to college. Then I become a student of Auburn University. And that's where the heartbreak began. 2021, 3rd and 18, a minute and 8 seconds left. Bryce Young, 25-yard pass. And they march on the field, 40-yard pass, whoever number 7 is, score a touchdown, they won 4 overtimes. That's my first heartbreak.
Brutal, just brutal.
2023.
Even more.
4th and 31.
The mill throw. That's what they're called. Sorry.
4th and 31.
So sorry. Golly.
I was 3-0. 3-0. Now I'm like 0-4 in college. So, it's part of being an Auburn fan. It comes with the highest of the highs, but the lowest of the lows.
And I hate to bring this stat in, but it is true, and it's kind of interesting to point out that your senior class, is not only 0-4 in Iron Bowls, but they are 0-8 against Georgia and Alabama in your time, and they are the only class in the history of Auburn to ever have that.
Yep. 2020 was an amazing year. We had COVID, and that just screwed up everything,
Yeah, it happens. But, this year's game was just something else. It was
a rocking environment. It was probably my favorite game in Auburn history. It was electric, and it was just so much history. There's so many people in that one, this one game, and I was glad it was a close game. Win or lose, that's all I want.
Yeah, regardless, we saw one of, if not the greatest college football games of our lifetime. It was
it was rocking.
We felt every one of the 89,000 people's energy on the field. It was the most insane environment I had ever been a part of.
It was. And it was very sweet to get to experience. I was a little nervous after the New Mexico State game. I was surprised they were able to bounce back, but they did it. They showed who they were. And obviously we didn't get the results that we wanted, but we had the better coach for the 40 minutes of that whole game. The whole game we had the better coach. You know what I'm saying? We had the better players. They just got
they just last 43 seconds, guy made a play.
Yeah, so the guy made a play, guy made an amazing play, and you got to tip your hat off to that guy and keep pushing forward. But at the end of the day, Auburn fans don't get discouraged about the outcome. I just realize what we have in Auburn is special. Hugh Freeze is an amazing coach.
The things to come based off the games we've had against the top teams, Georgia and Alabama, both insanely close games at home that came down to the final minutes.
Exactly.
And I would even say props to our defense for the job that they did do. Think about those last 2 sequences of going to 4th down. The first one we get them to 4th and 1 off the miscommunication on the snap.
Yep.
And then the sack from Marcus Harris. And then he throws the 3rd down pass, and it's the flag because he crossed the line of scrimmage. So Auburn fans are on their feet, they can't even believe it. 4th and 31.
Yeah.
You got them from their
goal
your red zone all the way back to the 31-yard line, and you're like, we've got it. We're good.
Yep.
But props to the defense for doing the job that they did, because they were good all night, I thought. Only allowing Bama 27 points.
I mean,
that's
27 hard-fought, nail-biting points. Those points didn't come easy.
No, pretty impressive.
Did not come easy.
Yeah,
so
and then
they play out of their mind.
Yeah, and then that last play, that's talent in and of itself. Jalen Milroe I think the defense would agree with me. He is insanely hard to stop. He is so athletic. He's always moving. There's always a play he might make, which is tough to prepare for in a spot.
He's so hard to contain. Watching our guys contain him on the edge, and like they're being there in the right spot. Like 99% of quarterbacks aren't going to break that contain.
No.
He's just part of the 1% that can, and it's just crazy seeing him, get out of the pocket and just scramble for 20, 30, 40 yards whenever he wanted to. And that's kind of quarterback Jalen Milroe is. Props to him for being such a great athlete.
Yeah.
And I went to the Texas-Alabama football game earlier this year, and like just watching him in person is so different than watching him on TV.
Yeah.
Like the TV doesn't do his speed justice.
No,
when you see him in person, you're like, how can anybody tackle him?
Yeah,
You know
I
what
was
mean?
videoing and I was having to move quicker than I had with
Jaden
Jaden
McDaniels.
McDaniels. He's tough, and he's considered one of the fastest quarterbacks in college football. And Milroe is.
He be getting lit up though.
Yeah.
Milroe can take a hit. Milroe
barely even took any hits
he's a
because he's
big
so
body.
dang fast.
He's a big body and he's so fast.
Yeah,
What an
the
athlete.
sack we got on him at the end of the game, I was like, oh, we finally got him.
Yeah.
Because we were chasing all game long.
Yep.
And then when it got to the clutch, I was like, oh, we finally made that one tackle. 50 made that one tackle.
Exactly.
So I thought we had it, and he just, props to him. He made an amazing play.
So after the game, Milroe goes to say, give me the Heisman. What are your thoughts about Milroe for Heisman?
Based off how he has played up to that point, the first 4 games, obviously, people were questioning if he would even remain the starter. They threw the transfer from Notre Dame in there just to test. He didn't play too well. They threw Milroe back in. And from Ole Miss game, which I think was week 4 or 5, he's improved like crazy. But I also don't think you can win a Heisman from week 4 on. I think you have to put 10, 12 games together to really be in that conversation. I know he wasn't actually in the Vegas list of people that they think is going to be in there.
Yeah.
But after making a play like that, I get emotions are at the highest they've been, and the energy's there. And of course, you want to be the quarterback that wins the award.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually winning, I don't really think he has that honest of a shot.
Who's your Heisman favorite? You personally?
I'm going to go an old favorite, Bo Nix, Oregon.
I'm going McDaniels.
McDaniels. He's going LSU. I say Bo just because, like I said, you have to put together a full season, and Oregon's offense is absurd. Like, they are crazy. Their speed, just the sheer amount of points that they score every week. Like, they'll lay 60 on anybody.
Yeah.
And the game against Washington that they lost by a field goal. They lost because of kicker.
Yeah.
Out of Bo's hands. I'm interested to see how the conference championship goes against Washington too, because I think they're a scary team, and even an SEC defense, Bo's beaten SEC defenses.
That's the thing about the Pac-12 is so high scoring. You see Colorado's first couple of games. Their first game they beat TCU like 45-42. Like those games are not happening in the SEC.
Yeah.
A lot of SEC scores are 30s and 20s because it's all about defense. And I'm just not sold on Bo Nix for Heisman because he's not doing it in the SEC. Yeah. McDaniels. He has better stats than Joe Burrow, who was the Heisman, who was the number 1 pick, I believe, in 2019, 2020. And he has more rushing yards, and he has more touchdowns, less turnovers. He's a more put-together player. He just needs a better team around him. If you put him on the 2019 Oregon team, who's going to stop that? That team is already unstoppable, but Auburn wouldn't even. They beat Auburn 3 points that year. They would have.
Yeah, and it's a thing too where you wonder how much winning impacts an award like that.
A lot.
If Bo's undefeated or has a 1-loss team, maybe he's the favorite. If Daniels is in that same conversation with a 1-loss LSU team and say they lost to Georgia or Bama, I think he's much more in that conversation than he is right now. Would you agree?
Yeah, I just think Heisman should be more about the individual. Because obviously, with the more winning you do, the more media coverage you get, the more national media coverage you get, the more spotlight you get, obvious, stuff like that. The Naismith for basketball is always going to be the person on the best teams. You're not going to have a Naismith player of the year that's on, a team that was a 9th seed in the tournament. So I get what you're saying with that. It's just the combination of playing in the SEC and looking at the games that they lost. They weren't losing, by 20, 10 points. They're losing by one single
close
drive.
Games. Against good SEC teams that could go beat anybody.
I think all his losses are on the road, and they lost to FSU, who's undefeated.
Right.
So they have really good losses, and I just believe LSU should be. I feel like LSU shouldn't have that many losses in general, But I feel like Jay McDaniels, he's my Heisman favorite just because of his stats alone are just insane.
Yeah, granted, I do think Bo will make or break his Heisman hopeful in the conference championship against Washington.
And I agree.
Because, say, Penix outduels him, then is Penix the Heisman? He's got an undefeated Washington team that they're going to stick in the playoff, and he outdueled Bo twice, and Bo's in the Heisman conversation. So is that an argument that you bring up too? Because his improvement from Indiana, he was respectfully not that good at Indiana. Granted, it's Indiana; it's in the middle of the Big Ten.
Indiana,
So, like, to see his development, do you award that?
Yeah, I believe if you are the starting quarterback on an undefeated team, you should be in the race for Heisman. But was Jordan Travis a Heisman candidate before? I'm just asking a single question. I don't know. So I'm not sure if Jordan Travis was a Heisman candidate. You know, even he's an undefeated
Definitely,
team.
probably in that same conversation.
Yeah. So if the argument is, if my team is 12-0 and I have a quarterback that's good, he should be in the Heisman race. I mean, look at Stetson Bennett. I mean, he's just like, was he a Heisman guy?
He was in the finals.
I mean, he was in the finals, but like, was he a Heisman candidate?
Caliber.
Yeah, was he a Heisman caliber player? That's what I'm looking at. And I don't believe that just because your team is undefeated. I'm not saying Michael Penix is great.
Yes, I know what you mean.
I just think that I just think McDaniels wins in general because my same argument is it's the Pac-12. It's not the SEC.
Right.
So that's where I'm going.
Yeah, and we've seen that fluctuate too, I think, in the years that the 4-team playoff has come about. We've seen teams like Washington get thrown into that mix, and sometimes they've played close games and sometimes they haven't. So just the depth and how good those teams are really shows it when they're thrown into the fire against an SEC team that's played tough teams like an LSU or like the teams that will likely be in it this year, an Auburn or Georgia, or not an Auburn, Alabama or Georgia.
My Heisman every year will always go to someone from the Big Ten or the SEC just because they have that defense. They're both physical conferences. They have good defenses and great offenses. You go to the West Coast, I mean, it's really it's a West Coast offense. It's run and gun. Like that's what they're known for. They're not known for defense. So they're not obviously he's going to go over. Like, look at what they're saying. They're saying this his first couple of games, he's averaging like 500 yards. When's the last time you seen a quarterback in the SEC throw up 500 yards? You know what I mean? Like,
what's he standing on though?
He's standing on business. But that business is 4-8. So
business is not booming right now.
Yeah, business is not booming.
He's standing on turf. I don't know that he's standing on business right now.
It's just when you look at Heisman, it's probably the most difficult year of college football in general. And then you throw in the playoffs.
I was about to bring that up because I think this year, to tie a word to it, is probably going to be the most awkward playoff put together we've seen yet. And luckily, it's the last 14 playoff that we're going to see, for at least for a little bit.
I hope for the rest of my life. I hate 14 playoffs.
But it's going to be I don't know how they're going to do it, especially if shakeup happens. Say Bama beats Georgia, then the water is blown open. We don't know what's going to happen.
The SEC team has to go every year. I don't care who it is. An SEC team has to go.
Say you have a one-loss Georgia and a one-loss Alabama. Alabama beats Georgia in the SEC championship.
Bama goes because they lost to a on-fire Texas team early in the season.
So Texas is in too. They're one loss.
One loss, Texas. It depends if Washington or
Oregon.
If Oregon beats Washington, they're both out. I hate the Pac-12.
That's not evident.
Yeah, I'm SEC bias. One SEC team has to go every year because we know, obviously, like if Georgia loses once, they're still in my opinion, because they're the reigning champs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And they beat the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They've had a weaker schedule this year.
Granted, they haven't.
They've had a weaker schedule this year. But, I mean, they've also had to overcome a lot of stuff. A lot of trouble in the offseason.
Yeah.
Your star player gets hurt. Bowers gets hurt for 3-4 weeks.
Piece.
You know what I mean?
And the Auburn game, you saw how big of a piece Bowers was.
Exactly.
That fourth quarter, golly.
I just don't know. I don't know if you penalize Georgia for losing one game.
Yeah.
Especially because there's a new stat that came out that Bama's undefeated in Atlanta ever since their 2008 loss against Florida.
Wow.
They have never lost in Atlanta. So you throw that in the mix, I mean, it's just hard. It's hard for me to throw out Georgia, even though I don't like Georgia. Like I dislike Georgia more than I dislike Alabama. I really hate Georgia. I don't think you should penalize Georgia for losing a conference championship game. You know, and that's a big game for both teams.
Yeah. Agreed.
You win, you're in. You lose, you're potentially out. But I'm not going to watch a college football playoffs without an SEC team in there.
Yeah, just because it does mean more. It's
Yeah.
on a different level than
FSU is out, undefeated or not.
I want to say similar, but the politics
I don't
is
care
what
about politics, bro.
but they do.
There's a question. So here's a question I saw.
Cincinnati last year, it's the same
They're booty.
situation.
Get
to
up
me,
out of here.
But they put them in.
Yeah, they put them in. You saw what happened.
Everybody didn't want them in.
No one
But
wanted
they put them in anyway because they're undefeated.
Look at
It's
TCU.
really hard to turn down.
Look what
If they beat
TCU
Louisville, they're in against our will.
And look at Florida State did against Florida. They barely beat a bad Florida team, an awful, like a god-awful Florida team. They barely beat them. What makes you think they're going to go in there and play Georgia and even have a chance? No one wants to watch a blowout.
Yeah.
No one wants to watch that. Put Texas in if you really want to. I like Texas. Texas is a really great
Yeah, you
team.
saw them in person.
Seeing them in person was probably the best quarterback game I've ever seen in my life. Like
It was
Quinn
crazy.
Ewers. Golly,
Crazy.
Quinn Ewers. If we had Quinn Ewers, man, I like Peyton Thorne though. Anyways, I'm an Auburn man. Sold out. Love you, Peyton. But good Lord Jesus, man, Texas is great.
Give me your 4 college football playoff teams for 2023. Talk to me.
Michigan, because we want John Harbaugh in that mug. Free my boy John Harbaugh at the pen. He ain't do nothing wrong, bro. Free John Harbaugh, man. So Michigan's number 1.
I love that man. I love that man.
Yeah, literally, that's my coach, man.
I love that man. Oh,
Literally. So
Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, I don't care. Vince and Dylan, we ball. All I say. All I'm saying, John, Jim,
he
I
is
don't
putting
care.
it together right now.
Yeah, one of the Harbaugh brothers, we'll take them. I like them. I like all of them. So
The one
anyways,
that's gone missing. That's
yeah,
the one we want to
the
see
one
win
that's
right
missing
now.
in action. We want Michigan. I want Michigan to stick it to the whole nation, the NCAA, and win the championship. That's what I personally want.
Go Big Blue.
Yeah.
Go Big Blue.
I'm not cheering for them or nothing. I'm SEC sold out, baby. But I will say, NCAA, you penalize a man for something he had no business doing. He was not even in the situation, in that scandal, and he
Bought
got
a kid a
penalized for it.
cheeseburger, dude.
Exactly. So
Messed.
Michigan's number 1. Who else is in the race? I mean, Ohio State. I don't like Ohio State anyway. So I think
They're gone. They lost to Michigan.
I mean, they're out. Up out of here. Washington.
Washington and Oregon.
I mean, that's a toss-up. If I had to choose, I would choose Washington. Just
You think the
because-
winner gets in?
Yeah, the winner of the Pac-12 gets in immediately. So that's 2 spots I have locked in.
Bama, Georgia. That's a tough one. And then you got Texas lingering.
Texas is automatically in for me. I favor Texas. I'm definitely not choosing FSU.
No Jordan Travis. No competition.
It's just not.
No
like,
entry.
No.
You don't think undefeated matters at this
Nope.
point?
The question to ask is, do you believe the college football playoff should be the most deserving team gets in or the best team
I think
gets
it's the
in?
best. But
best
I
team should
acknowledge
get in,
that
yeah.
sometimes they think the opposite.
Yeah. And I get it. You want to award the best, like the teams that, are undefeated. But JMU is barely getting their recognition. They're undefeated.
Right.
So,
And they're
you know what I mean?
just going bowling.
I'm saying. So I think you put JMU versus FSU in a bowl game, and we figure it out from there. And then you'll
Hear
see.
that bowl committee? Hear that?
Yeah. And then we'll see how good FSU is. I would, if I was in FSU's position, I would genuinely hate that. I would hate that we had our best year yet, we're undefeated, and our quarterback goes down, they're hurt, and we still win a conference championship, and we get out, we're not in the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That brings a lot of uproar, but no one wants to watch the backup, with all due respect to the backup,
Yeah.
no one wants to watch that.
He might be cold. We don't.
Yeah, he might be cold as a dog, but I don't want to watch that. I've seen what Texas has. And I also saw what Florida did to Florida State. That was Florida's game. You know what I mean? So I just am not interested in watching a spanking. You know how bad the TCU Georgia game was to watch last year? I watched the first quarter.
Bad.
I said it's over. I just turned it off. That's bad for money, bad for business, bad for everybody. So CFP committee, if you're listening to me, bro, do not let FSU in. Please. Don't let, with all due respect, I might get a lot of hate from Seminole fans, bro. Thankfully, we'll never play y'all. But all I'm saying is that it'd be a wasted opportunity to put y'all in there and take Texas out, because Texas would dog walk FSU, to the dog park and back.
So you're 4. Michigan.
Michigan.
Georgia.
Winner of Pac-12.
Okay, so you said Washington,
Winner of the SEC.
which you think is
I don't know. I'm going
IDK.
to say
Winner of SEC. We'll just throw it in there like that.
Yep.
And
Texas.
Texas. That's your 4.
Yep.
Solid. I like it.
What's your 4?
My 4 would be, I saw what Michigan did to Ohio State, and they get Harbaugh back. That's a big thing. Yep.
Free Harbaugh.
Big Blue. Free Harbaugh. Shout out Harbaugh.
Yeah, man, that's my coach.
That's my coach. Yeah, wipe the tears. I got Michigan. I think winner of the Pac-12, which, unlike you, I think it's going to be Oregon and bodacious. So I'm throwing those 2 in there. Winner of the SEC, which I think will be Georgia, and I think Texas.
Good.
So that's my 4.
FSU, I'm sorry, bro. We're just sorry.
As much as I would love to.
You can't control our injury.
Yeah. And as much as I can appreciate an undefeated season, we saw what happened to UC last year. Shout out my friends at UC. I know you guys had to go through it, and man, you guys stunk it up this year. But you don't want to see the same thing happen.
No.
And honestly, I think Florida State would play a great bowl game with somebody good, too.
And this would be the perfect season to have a 12-seeded playoff.
I think if their quarterback's healthy, they're in. Sure, Jordan Travis is a threat.
I agree.
So he stays healthy, it's a different ball game for him. But he's not healthy, so same ball game.
Yeah.
Current ball game.
Put him in the best bowl game, and just let him go out there and have fun.
Yeah.
Put him against Ole Miss. That's what I want to see. FSU, Ole Miss, and then come back to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if they win the bowl game, call CFP, cancel the college football playoffs, and put FSU in there.
I am very much looking forward to the 12 team, though. That will change the game completely.
It will, because it's just not fair, for a lot of these teams. Like in basketball, UConn had 7 losses. They were a 4 seed in March Madness, and they won the whole tournament. 7 losses.
Could be anybody.
In football, if you have 1 loss, you don't make it.
Yeah, we're talking about Texas, who beat Alabama but has 1 loss.
And lost in a heated rivalry match by like 1 possession.
Basically in their Iron Bowl.
That game was literally insane. It was literally won on a game-winning like touchdown drive.
Yeah.
So you can't fault them for that loss. Plus, they beat Bama at Bama. You know how hard that is?
Talk, Dill.
We haven't done it since 2010. And when we did it in 2010, we were down 24-0. Like, that was the first, like, when I went in there, bro, I think that was the first non-conference loss they've ever had in Bryant-Denny under Saban, or it was the second one. But you go 15, 16 years and only experience 1 or 2 non-conference losses at home. I mean, shucks, that's just hard to do.
Yeah.
So I award Texas for that, and they only lost their Iron Bowl by 1 possession. Texas is in.
Yeah, I'm with you.
They're a lock.
I think Texas is in. I think the 12 team will change it completely.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it will make it a whole lot more fun.
It would.
Putting teams like, heck, Tulane, whoever's 12 right now, a team like that could go in and shake something.
Then our
you never know.
Then our argument would be next year, when we're still doing big talk, would you put Tulane in at 12 or Auburn at 13? Because we're the SEC.
Right.
Because no one wants to see.
It will change the conversation completely.
No one wants
on its
to, with
head.
all due respect, Tulane, y'all are not beating the SEC team.
But it'll be interesting to see because
they play Ole Miss. They beat somebody good this year.
Yeah, they ran some good teams, some good games, I think, in their
But
non-conference.
with all due respect, Tulane, y'all would finish at the bottom of the SEC, right beside Vanderbilt.
Good. You're not lying. I don't think.
I apologize for my disrespect, y'all. I'm just SEC biased.
This guy, it just means more to
It literally does. You can see it when I'm talking, bro. It literally just means so much more that these other conferences don't understand. I was blessed to go to Israel with Kansas State this past year, and I swear the Big 12, they swear they got it in basketball. I'm just like, I mean.
Where is it everywhere else, like the SEC? Yeah.
SEC, bro, it means more in gymnastics, you know what I'm saying? Auburn, Final Four, you know what I mean? Final Four in gymnastics and in basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, SEC, dog, it just means more. You see our volleyball team, they play right now, like 3 o'clock.
In my city, Louisville.
Exactly, man. Throw the L's up. Yeah, for real. Anyway, that was fire.
Yeah.
But like, SEC just means more. I don't care about the Big 12, Pac-12. I don't care.
Yeah. It'll be interesting how just the conversation of what team gets in, how that will change over time and with the 12 team. It'll be so interesting to see just the flip of all of that.
And, look at Gus Malzahn's, tenure here.
Do I have to? I'm just kidding.
Facts. We finished 12th like every year.
Yeah.
So we would be in the college football playoffs if it was
every year.
That's what I'm saying.
It'll
So
be awesome.
Gus would still be here. Like, I love Harsh. Love Freeze. Scratch that tape, y'all. Hey,
Oh no!
don't quote me. That was an accident, y'all.
Oh no!
Look.
Oh
Don't
no!
look at him. Don't look at him.
Oh
Don't look at
no!
him, bro. Look at me. That was a mistake. Hugh Freeze. Harsin, I feel like you should go out there and go get the Texas A&M job. I know it's already taken, but go back, apply.
He's still making money off Auburn, so I don't know why he'd go anywhere.
Literally. Speaking of making money, Jimbo Fisher, dog. If I was Jimbo, I wouldn't work a day in my life.
That transition game was crazy. We're like the French Montana of transitions right now. We just go, then we switch up.
Yeah. Jimbo Fisher, let's talk about that, man.
77 mil.
77 million, never coach again. I promise to God, if that ever happened to me, I wouldn't even touch a football. I would be somewhere in Barbados,
with the
Turks and
grandkids.
Caicos. Yeah, I'd be the great grandkids. I'd probably buy an island. Like, you're telling me I get paid.
Oh, and mind you, Texas A&M didn't win anything while he was there.
The boy got a plaque that said, National Championships 20 what?
He has a plaque that says, "Came and I saw."
Literally, he came, he saw, and he lost a lot.
Yeah.
So
that was crazy to me, though.
Yeah.
That buyout, $77 million.
Bad contract.
That's more than the last 4 Auburn coaches' buyouts combined.
And that's going to change the landscaping of. That's going to change the landscaping of contracts in general. Like, if you're paying these coaches big bucks and they don't deliver, what's the point of paying these coaches big bucks?
Yeah.
We can find the Kirby Smarts of the world, get them at a low price, you know what I mean, and then just raise them up and build them up. And that's what you saw. Like Nick Saban, every single coach under Nick Saban is a head coach now.
Yeah.
Like, you can go down the line. I'm not going to name them all, but it's just insane.
So many.
So
And
many.
they're primarily in the SEC.
Because it just means more. You don't see anybody going to the West Coast. No. We don't care about the Pac-12. We don't care about the Big 12.
Yeah.
All the 12s. We don't mess with 12. Except the Auburn Police. Love y'all boys.
Shout out the Auburn Pope.
Shout out, for real, like, we get
Shout out the
protection,
Auburn 12,
dog.
man.
Man, we be riding in Birmingham on our bus. We be getting a police escort.
Yeah. Never been safer, man.
Auburn Police, love y'all boys.
The Auburn Police.
But back to Jimbo's buyout.
That needs a little policing, I think. Frankly.
Facts. We need to start policing these contracts. It's like, what's the point of, paying them big bucks if they're going to do that? He had the exact same record as the previous coach before him. That's insane.
You might as well have just kept the first guy. They guilt tripped us into thinking that it would be the Kentucky coach. I don't know if you saw that.
That was weird.
They said Mark Stoops right after he beat U of L, which is a big upset because Louisville was number 10 in the country.
Louisville played like garbage that game.
Yeah,
too.
they did. Kentucky, yeah.
SEC.
Yep, SEC, the blue.
Speaking of SEC, man, let's just transition to the SEC
ACC
challenge.
I was
just
about
for a
to
bit.
say.
We went 7-7. I feel that shows the SEC is moving towards being a basketball conference.
Yes.
ACC.
Because there was a long time where the SEC was not a basketball conference. And it was those East Coast teams, the old Big East ACC, those teams working their way down now to find where it does mean more once again.
This means more. That's just going to be the title of this thing. It just means more.
This
where
just
we're
means
from.
more.
And I think the funny trend that I saw in the challenge, I think every home team won. If I'm not mistaken.
Interesting.
Every home team, if not, I'm wrong.
If not, it's
but
majority
majority
of
of
majority.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, majority of them,
North Carolina,
North Carolina,
Auburn.
yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I think the only ACC team that didn't play was U of L.
Yeah, Ole Miss won. Oh,
Arkansas was crazy.
Storm the court. I mean, if we keep celebrating regular season wins like national championships, shoot. I don't remember the last time Auburn stormed the basketball court, probably 2016. But outside of that, this means more over here.
Yeah, the recruits are going different places now. Whether that's NIL influenced, coach influenced, different things, I think it's more the big bucks than it is anything else.
Yeah.
When you're playing in those games, do you notice what's the difference?
Difference is the physicality, man. SEC has got them dogs. We've been known as a physical league for a while, and the skill just started to catch up.
Yeah.
So when we're playing, Virginia Tech, you look at a lot of these games.
Team.
Yeah, it's a tough team, but they're a tough team in the ACC.
Yes.
Where you come to the SEC, we're just not a tougher school than them. We're just naturally tough because our SEC opponents are big and strong and tough.
Because you know what you have to go up against every single year.
Exactly. So I just think physicality wins basketball games nowadays. They changed a couple rules around with the charge rule and stuff like that. So you see more guys going downhill. But to go 7-7 with ACC, who's the basketball conference,
And you think about just the legendary programs that got taken down by SEC teams. Duke got taken down, and they're a good team, by Arkansas, who's 4-3.
Yeah,
so probably had a lot of people head turning. But that is interesting to see the formation and the change of recruiting, the money, all of that stuff, and really how it plays into the landscape of college basketball. And obviously you guys had a great win. Our good friend KD Johnson, who I know is a fan of the podcast, is the first player in college basketball that I've ever seen to have 6 fouls and foul outs. Mind you, the foul count for college basketball is 5 fouls, but don't worry, KD's just a little extra.
I think Auburn set the record for the most players to actually foul out with 6 fouls, because Janai fouled out with 6 fouls against Baylor. So we've done it twice.
Look at us. Look at us.
We're making history.
Janai, though, big 30.
30 burger.
I saw you guys were having a good time with him on the sideline.
Just dancing.
I wanted him to hit the 3. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, me too.
He was trying, man.
Me too.
He was really trying.
Yeah, he was, dog. He was.
He's shooting them this year. I like the confidence. I'm all about the confidence. Keep shooting it, 4. 4 with the 3.
4 with the 3.
And Chad's missed dunk, too. That came
that
right
was nasty.
to Trey.
Chad almost shut the whole arena
place
down. That was bad.
That was crazy. But nonetheless, a great team win. More to come in that category. Speaking of categories, I think it's the time in the show where we take it to the mailbox. Or go the other way, to the mailbox right here.
Oh, the mailbox over here.
People send in questions that they want us to answer. And
first question,
we are here to answer
First question should probably be about FSU. Dylan, why do you hate FSU? I mean, they're just on the SEC.
That wasn't the first question.
Well,
it was the second question, but you're right there, my man.
FSU, I apologize, but I don't want to see y'all get blown out.
FSU, we promise it's all
protect
love.
Your season, bro. That's all I'm saying. Like, protect your pride. Like,
go
down undefeated, 13-0. Do like UCF did. Remember Auburn beat Alabama, UCF beat Auburn. So by transitive property, when Alabama won the national championship, UCF was the national champions.
Standing on business.
So
come on now.
By transitive property, FSU, I'm gonna fix your whole season. You lost your quarterback, but it does not mean you have to go to the CFP and lose a game. Go to a bowl game and win. And then stand on business, go 13-0, 14-0, whatever it is, throw a parade, and have whoever wins the national championship, probably not gonna be undefeated. Then you go say, hey, we're the only undefeated team in college football. You know what I'm saying?
Where'd you hear it first? Big talk. Dylan Cardwell said it first.
FSU, just get up out of here, though, please.
And speaking of the first question in the mailbox, we talked a little bit about Louisville today. There was a video yesterday of Louisville head basketball coach Kenny Payne in his press conference saying that one of his players almost didn't play in the game because their athletics team did not have the tights that he liked. What are your thoughts on that? Is there ever... I know we've seen a lot of headband deal lately. Say somebody forgot your headband, are you like, I'll play without it?
Well,
I can do without the Superman headband, or are you like, not so fast?
A wise man once told me,
talk to me.
You look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good. And I just feel like he was standing on business. You know what I mean? I just feel like...
It's not even like he forgot his roll either, he forgot his tights.
Yeah, this Louisville player was just standing on business. He was like, hey, he wants to look good in front of the shorties, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, you know, the tights looking long and all, you know, the tights little, you know what I'm saying? He goes like, hey, I got that swag on.
Yeah.
But if you swagless, you're going to lose your swag as a player.
He played anyway, so I guess he went swagless.
And that's probably why he didn't play as well.
They won, at least. They beat Bellarmine. Shout out Bellarmine.
Who beat them last year. Crazy.
Brand new D1 team.
Let's go.
Yep. And the second and last question is, did Chris Davis ever respond? So Dylan and I, we were on the sideline for the Iron Bowl, 2023 Iron Bowl, which was the 10-year anniversary of the Kick Six, as we mentioned, which was the infamous play where Chris Davis returned the ball 109 yards to the end zone and caused magical moments for every Auburn fan, including sixth grade Dylan Cardwell, on that day in November 2013.
Yep.
We saw this legendary man on the sidelines.
We're looking for him.
One, he was awesome.
Yep. Great guy.
Second, he also said he's got some more truths to tell. The story was told, but not all of it. So our goal is to hopefully, in the near future, have the man on himself, Chris Davis.
Yep.
hopefully that answers your question, cleared that up.
Stay tuned.
And Chris
y'all.
Davis is an Auburn fan, for crying out loud.
Yeah, he bleeds orange and blue.
Was a Bama fan.
Yeah.
From what we know and what we've heard. Chris Davis is an Auburn man, through and through.
Mm-hmm.
What's also through and through is this episode, which you can find on full episodes on YouTube, Apple Music, and Spotify, with clips on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Reels, and Twitter. Thank you for tuning in today. We had a lot of fun on this one, talking college football and playoff expectations.
FSU, hit the road, Jack, and never come back.
Bo Nix.
SEC, baby.
Bo Nix.
McDaniels.
I think he's the man. Bo Nix. Bo Nix. Bo Nix. Bo Nix. Bo Nix. Bodacious. 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 That's it for Big Talk. My name is Vince.
I am Dylan Cardwell.
And that is all that we have this week for you. We will see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.